Okay, so I shall be dealing with the subject of social issues and social justice. Fine. So first of all, before starting up with the class, let's broadly see that what will be the agenda for upcoming few days. So briefly, we will be dealing with social issues and social justice. Social issues is more popularly known as the issues related to Indian society, and social justice more pertains to the issues related to development, issues such as poverty, hunger, fine, women empowerment, and all such kind of things. Social issues and social justice is an important area in our GS paper number 1 and GS paper number 2. And if you go and you'll see the questions that are being asked from this particular area, you'll find that every year around 5 to 6 questions at least are being asked from this particular area in GS1 and GS paper number 2 both. Some years, if we take GS1 and GS2 both, around 7 questions, 8 questions have also been asked. So very safely we can understand, or we can infer, that this particular area pertains to around 60 to 80 marks. 60 to 80 marks. Okay. Moreover, also understand this particular thing, that as we talk about Indian society, social issues, questions will be such that anybody having a decent understanding or anybody having a basic understanding will be able to write the answers. Fine. So, in order to ensure that we get the maximum out of these marks, fine, we get maximum out of these particular answers, is that basically your opinion or your answers should have little bit of an, it should have a special insight, it should have a better insight, and that we are going to build in these particular classes. Fine. Understand this particular thing, that when we talk about society, okay, social justice, fine, as you are reading society, a lot of things that you'll read here will be with respect to the opinions. Okay, we need to build a better opinion, we need to build an academic opinion with respect to a lot of social issues that are there. That will be the attempt in these particular classes. Is it clear? Now let's get started, but before that, before formally diving in, so before diving in the topic right away, I would be starting with some little bit more basic. What is a social issue? What is a social issue? Yes, बहुत basic सा question है. We'll be reading society, we'll be reading the social issues. So what a social issue is? क्या होता है social issue? Understand this thing. The good thing about society, social issue is this, that you will not go wrong. Fine. One answer will be better, another answer will be more better. ठीक है, तो don't think that okay, you'll say something and it will be wrong. That will not happen. That is the beauty of humanities. Fine. You can have a different opinion. Depends के that आप उसको कैसे justify करते हो. So yes, what a social issue is? Yes. Okay, fine, right? Anybody else? Right? Very good, very good. Fine. So what a social issue is? Social issue is any societal phenomena. It is any societal phenomena which impacts large number of people, and B, it is an outcome, of societal arrangement. It is an outcome of societal arrangement. It means it is not natural. It is not natural. Fine, it doesn't happens because of nature, it doesn't happens because of biology, it is emerged because of societal arrangement. Let's discuss a little bit more. We talk about gender discrimination. We talk about gender discrimination. Is gender discrimination a social issue or not? First of all, tell me this. Is gender discrimination a social issue? First of all, when we talk about the gender discrimination, does it impact large number of people? Does it impact large number of people? Most of the women are impacted because of the gender discrimination. Second, when we talk about the gender discrimination has emerged out of the societal arrangement. Understand this thing, that nature made male and female. Nature made male and female. When we talk about the idea of male and idea of female, it is a biological idea, it is a physiological division. It is a biological division, or you can say that it is a physiological division. Fine. But what we find in the society, we find that society created man and women. Society created man and women. Now man were given certain preferences. Women were imposed with certain discriminations. ठीक है? Nature never told that okay, women will be the one who will be imposed with so many restrictions. Okay, nature never told. Okay, no superpower came and told that the man will be the ones who will be the privileged one. It is the society who over the period of time has imposed these particular restrictions and have given certain privileges to the men. Fine. So gender discrimination, for example, as we talk about it, okay, it impacts large number of people, and secondly, it was not natural, it was societal. Okay. If we talk about caste, is caste a social issue or not? Fine. First, it impacts large number of people. Second, when we talk about caste is also a division that has been created over the evolution of society. Okay, it was not natural, it is social. Fine. So social issue is any issue which will be fulfilling these two conditions. Sometime you will find this particular thing. That certain phenomena which seems to be economical, they are also categorized as social issue. For example, poverty. Now, poverty, okay, I am giving you a definition. Okay, so what a poverty is? Poverty is categorized as the lowness of income due to which a person is not able to avail the basic necessities of life. Fine. So poverty on face of it seems to be an economical issue. Poverty on the face of it seems to be an economical issue. But often we'll find that poverty is studied as a social issue. Poverty is studied as a social issue. In fact, your syllabus mentions poverty. Okay, so poverty is seen as a social issue. Why? It is because that poverty is not just the lowness of income. Yes, poverty is lowness of income. You are not able to afford the basic necessities of the life, but it is not just the lowness of income. A person poor is also deprived of many social choices. Secondly, poverty is not just a function of your capabilities. ठीक है, समझो इस बात को, that a lot of people are not rich or a lot of people are not super rich because they are the most talented one, and a lot of people are not poor just because they are untalented. A lot of people are rich simply because they were born or they were brought up in certain circumstances, and certain people are poor because they never got those situations, they never got a kind of a fulfilling environment. You understand it or not? So understand this thing, that what happens in society, certain barriers have been imposed. In society, certain social inequalities have been created. These inequalities are often keeping certain people as privileged, certain people as rich, certain people as poor. Is it clear or not? Now, if I give you basically, now when we talk about the prevalence of poverty, fine, it has been way higher in people belonging to scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Is it clear or not? Now when we talk about scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, they have been imposed a lot of social restrictions. Particularly when we talk about scheduled caste, historically they have been imposed a lot of restriction, as they are not allowed to take education, they were not allowed to do certain type of jobs, ठीक है, which perpetuated their poverty. ठीक है, we'll be going more deep in these particular kind of things, don't worry, I'm just giving you a kind of a flair. ठीक है, so social issue, in simple words, it is any social phenomena which A impacts large number of people and B it has been emerged because of societal arrangement. Two conditions. ठीक है, gender discrimination is a social issue. Okay, caste discrimination is a social issue. Fine. Even sometimes economic issues, economic themes, okay, or economic phenomena such as poverty is taken as a social issue. Why? Because even poverty not emerges because of the person was not deserving or was not talented. It is because certain social inequalities are there which don't allow certain people to rise above a particular level. You getting it or not? Now, these social inequalities, what they lead to? They lead to social injustices. They lead to social injustices. होता है या नहीं होता? Women not allowed to do certain type of work. Women, if they are working, there is something called as gender pay gap. What is gender pay gap? Simply because you are women, you are being paid less for the same work that a male is doing. Male might be getting more, women are being paid less. According to ILO, gender wage gap in India stands at 34%. Fine, means women are paid 34% less for the same work. Fine, male, if male does it, usse 34% less female will be getting. Fine, it leads to social injustices, yes or no? Fine. Now, in order to eradicate these social injustices, what we need? Now, understand this thing. So, first of all, तो हम लोग देखते हैं कि that social injustices, how social injustice happens. How social injustice happens. What will be there? What will be there? How the social injustice is going to happen? कैसे social injustice होगा? क्या होगा? Because of these social inequalities that are there. How the social injustice will manifest in the society? Good. What else? ठीक है, बताओ क्या होगा? और what else? Okay. What will be there? There will be lack of accessibility. There will be lack of accessibility. ठीक है, certain things will not be given access. Okay, certain people, because they are perceived to be in the lower part of the hierarchy, they will not be given the access. ठीक है, lack of dignified treatment. Lack of dignified treatment. They'll not be given a dignified treatment. Okay, lack of dignified treatment. And inequality. सोशल जस्टिस इन्हीं तरीकों से तो मैनिफेस्ट करती है ना, यही होता है ना सोशल इनजस्टिस में. क्या हो रहा है? यही हो रहा है सोशल इनजस्टिस में. ठीक है, what is happening? You are not being given accessibility to a lot of things. Fine, you are not being given a dignified treatment. You are being treated bad. Why? Because you are perceived to be belonging to a lower part of social hierarchy. Fine, there will be inequality that will be imposed on you. Is it clear? Therefore, what we need? We need remedies. We need remedies. We need solution. This is a problem. We need remedy. We need solution. Okay? And therefore comes the social justice programs. Therefore comes the social justice programs. Okay? Now you are going to be an IAS officer. Fine, you'll be posted in a tribal district. You'll be posted in a district where there are minorities that are there. You'll be posted in a district which is very much backward, and women are imposed with a lot of restriction. So first of all, you need to understand these things very sensitively. So you need to first of all have a very good understanding about what a social inequality is, how it impacts a different type of people. Is it clear? Then you need to give them some remedies. You need to eradicate these problems, and for that social justice programs have to be implemented. Okay? So one is a problem and other is a solution. Fine. Now when we talk about these social justice programs, what are these social justice programs? Okay, or how the social justice is given, how social justice is delivered. Very good. Okay, social justice programs are needed. Now how social justice is to be delivered? Social justice will be delivered by laws. For example, SC ST Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989. SC ST Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989. Okay, 1989. Fine. What this law aims to? This law aims to ensure that no discrimination, no undignified behavior should be done with the people belonging to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Certain type of words, certain type of gestures cannot be used. You cannot call them with certain names. Clear? Anybody discriminating, fine, with them on the basis of their caste or with the basis of, fine, what will be then? There will be a punishment. Okay, so we have laws, we have institutions. Okay, recently what happened? Parliament passed the Women Reservation Act. Is it clear or not? Fine. What it aims to provide? It aims to provide 1/3 seats in the Lok Sabha for the women. हम क्या कर रहे हैं? Aren't we giving the accessibility to women in Lok Sabha, which has been denied for a very long period of time? Not exactly denied, but if I give you the data, according to Global Gender Gap Index 2023, women's representation in the present Lok Sabha is 15.1%. 15.1%. This is the representation of women in the present Lok Sabha. This is highest. When we talk about the state legislative assembly, on an average in state legislative assembly, women reservation is 10%. 15.1% hai, which is highest. Are they getting the proportionate share? Are they getting the proportionate number of seats in Lok Sabha? No. Clear? If you see, fine, anybody can contest the election if you fulfill certain qualifications, but women still are not being able to enter the parliament. Why? Because there are certain invisible accessibility barriers that are there. Certain invisible accessibility barriers are there. In order to remove those invisibility accessibility barriers, we came out with the Women Reservation Bill, Women Reservation Act. Okay? So we do it through with the help of certain laws. Then what we do? We do it with the help of institutions. For example, we have National Commission for Scheduled Caste, yes or no, which specifically works to ensure that the grievances are handled, to ensure that development which is due to them should be given to them, fine, to advise that what type of schemes, what type of laws can be brought for welfare of scheduled caste people. Fine, National Commission for Scheduled Caste. We have National Commission for Scheduled Tribe. Fine. We have National Commission for Women. Fine. We have National Commission for Transgenders, which came in the Transgender Person Act 2019. So we have many such institutions. Children के लिए we have NCPCR, National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. Fine. National Commission for Minorities. Many we have. So social justice के लिए what you do? You give social justice through laws. You give them social justice through certain institutions, and then we come out with schemes. Then we come out with schemes. Is it clear or not? You are poor, ठीक है? In order to give you dignified living, ठीक है, 100 days of paid employment will be given to you. Doesn't matter what happens. MG नरेगा. Are you getting it or not? ठीक है? We have many schemes specifically meant for a particular section. ठीक है? For example, many tribals not able to get the competitive exam coaching. Many people, okay, many tribal people don't have opportunities for education. For example, we came out with the Eklavya residential model school, specifically catering to tribal areas. Fine. Gramin Udyami Yojana, specifically to give the entrepreneurship skills to scheduled tribal people. You understanding it or not? ठीक है? Many programs we have. Women के लिए, for example, what happened? Recently, government came out with Lakhpati Didi scheme. What is this Lakhpati Didi scheme? In Lakhpati Didi scheme, 2 crore women, they will be empowered so that they earn at least 1 lakh rupees of per annum income. They will be trained in activities such as drone operation, plumbing, okay, and all such kind of things. So this Lakhpati Didi scheme, Gramin Udyami Yojana, fine, Eklavya residential model school scheme for the tribal areas. We have many. Okay, I'll not overwhelm you right now. Fine, during the classes we are going to see a lot of them. My point is that in order to remove this social injustice, we come out with the social justice programs. ठीक है? Social justice program is a broad umbrella term. Within this, we'll be coming out with specific laws, we'll be coming out with specific institutions, we'll be coming out with specific schemes catering to a particular section and catering to a particular problem. Clear? So you being an IAS officer need to first of all understand these social issues. You need to understand then these social justice programs, these laws, working of these institutions. Fine. ठीक है? Then only you will be able to implement on it on the ground. Fine. If I don't now see, this is a machinery. This digital board is a machinery. If I don't know how to operate it, can I use it? I need to first of all know how to operate it. Same way, you going to be an IAS officer, you need to know about these laws, you need to know about these institutions. Usse pehle you need to know about this problem. Only then you will be able to implement it on the ground. Clear? So this basic awareness is tested in the examination. समझ में आ रहा है या नहीं आ रहा? ठीक है? Fine. So we have this social issues and social justice which are correlated with each other. ठीक है? Now just one question I will ask, and please reply. How many of you have seen the syllabus? How many of you have seen the syllabus? Okay, very few. ठीक है, चलो, at least you all are honest. चलो, how many of you can say that okay, I remember syllabus by heart? You'll ask me that this thing, and I'll be able to tell that okay, this is in GS1, this is in GS2 or 3, 4. How many of you have remembered the syllabus by heart? Good. One thing just I would like to tell you, though you might be already be knowing it. See, syllabus is a kind of a map to the treasure that you are looking for. Fine. Ultimately, you want to clear this examination. Okay? So getting a rank is a treasure. Getting a rank is a treasure. You can never reach the treasure if you don't have a map. ठीक है? अभी खजाना है कहाँ पे, उसके लिए मैप तो चाहिए ना कि that right जाना है, left जाना है. So first of all, do this particular thing. ठीक है, बिकॉज अ लार्ज नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स आर देयर हु हैव नॉट सीन द सिलेबस, ओके, और या तो बताना नहीं चाह रहे हो, ठीक है, अगर नहीं देखा या देखने से कुछ नहीं होता, इट डजंट मैटर अगर देखा भी हो, अगर आपको याद नहीं है, अगर आपको पता नहीं है कि क्या चीज कहां पे है, प्लीज गो बैक, स्पेंड 1 hour 2 hour एंड एंश्योर दैट यू रिमेंबर द एंटायर सिलेबस बाय हार्ट, ठीक है. व्हाई इट इज नीडेड? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, you pick the paper and you find that okay, this one article is there in the newspaper, ठीक है, there is a lot of noise that is there in papers everywhere. You need to filter out the relevant content that is needed for your examination. I am guessing that you all are reading papers. You all are reading papers, newspaper. Are you reading or not? ठीक है, तो when you are reading newspaper, how you filter out what is important for you, what is not important for you? You cannot filter it out if you don't know the syllabus. If you know syllabus, you can think, for example, there is an article, fine, you will be able to understand that okay, ये article GS1 में use होगा, this article will be relevant for my GS3, this can be used as a case study in GS paper number 2. So until and unless you don't have a command over the syllabus, you cannot filter out what is important for you, what is not important for you. Okay, so do this particular thing for sure. Now moving on, first topic, salient features of Indian society. First topic, salient features of Indian society. Salient features of Indian society. Okay, first of all, what does the word society means? What does the word society means? Society comes from the word socius. Society comes from the word socius. Fine. Now what the socius stands for? Socius stands for a collection of individuals. Okay, let's make our own definition so that you can understand it more better. What a society is? Society is simply a collection of individuals. Society is a collection of individuals and their consistent interactions with each other, with the help of certain social institutions and social relations. Okay, now this class, can I say that it is also a type of a society, yes or no? What is there? You all are sitting, so there is a collection of individuals, yes or no? And all the time you are interacting with each other in the capacity of classmates. ठीक है, you go out, this entire thing is a society. ठीक है, we all the time we are living together and we all the time are interacting with each other through certain relations, through certain institutions. Okay, and this entire phenomena is nothing but a society. This is a very basic and bare minimum but functional definition of society. We'll explore it even more. ठीक है, ठीक है, अभी there are features of society that we are going to see, but first you need to get a basic idea what a society is. Society is a collection of individuals. Fine, it is a collection of individuals and their consistent interactions with each other through certain social institutions and social relations. Through certain social institutions and social relations. Okay. Just one thing I would like to clear here. The classes, there will be the two aspects. I will explain certain things to you. You can scribble it down. Fine, but the things where dictation is needed, I'll be giving you dictation also. So don't have any insecurities that okay, jahan pe hoga, I'll give you dictation. But because I'll give dictation, it doesn't mean that you will not note down anything. Because when I am explaining certain things, I might give certain examples, I might give certain case studies, I might give you some data, fine, which is important. So आपको क्या करना है, you just scribble down the things and the major things that are there, ठीक है, I'll give you dictation also, so it will be mix of both, it will be mix of both, ठीक है. You've written the society. Now when we talk about society, there are certain attributes of a society. What are the major attributes of society? Major attributes of society. So you can give us a heading, major attributes of society. Number one, a society will be characterized by, a society will be characterized by a dominant theme, a dominant theme or a common culture, dominant theme or a common culture, fine. Why a common culture is needed? Because a common culture will instill a sense of camaraderie. What is camaraderie? Camaraderie means intimacy. Camaraderie means a sense of belongingness, a kind of a bond shared by few individuals. That is camaraderie. ठीक है? Let's understand this thing. Suppose you go to US, you are doing some job in US, and one day you find this thing that in your neighborhood a family has moved and they are from India. Suddenly a kind of a bond, suddenly a kind of a feeling of affection will come in your mind, yes or no? Then you'll find that they are not only from India, but they are also from Odisha. Then you find that in fact they are from your city. Moment you know this thing, even more sense of familiarity will come, yes or no? ठीक है, you'll feel that you should go and you should meet them. हो रहा या नहीं हो रहा? Why? Now you might not have felt same if some white family or a black family would have moved in your neighborhood, but now you are feeling that okay, it's different. Why? Because you now share a common culture. Fine, also you are sharing a common language. Is it clear or not? So understand this thing that now society has to be a collection of individuals, yes or no? If individuals are not there, can there be a society? No. So for a society, a collection of individuals has to be there. When individuals will stay together, they will stay together when there is something which binds them. कुछ उनको connect करता है तभी साथ रहेंगे ना. And common culture here becomes that particular factor that binds them. It gives them a sense of camaraderie. That is a sense of belongingness, a sense of brotherhood. ठीक है? So therefore, when you pick up any book of sociology, find the first feature of a society is that there will be a common culture. Is it clear or not? Now, let's explore this particular idea a little bit more. Let's explore this particular idea a little bit more. Now, when we talk about common culture, now let's see it in the context of India. In context of India, do we have a common culture? Do we have a common culture? In fact, we have heard it that it is said that after few kilometers, everything changes, language changes, cuisine changes, people's preference changes. First of all, तो culture क्या होता है? What a culture is? A culture is an outlook towards life. See, understand this thing. Culture is a way of life. Culture is a way of life. Now, culture encompasses. Culture किस चीज का बनता है? Culture encompasses your it encompasses your cuisine, food. It encompasses your dressing. It encompasses the faith that you follow. ठीक है? तो the language you speak, food you eat, fine, the faith that you follow, beliefs that you have, ये सब मिलके क्या बनता है? This is your culture. Is it clear or not? This is your culture. So culture encompasses your dressing, it encompasses your language, it encompasses your faith, it encompasses your beliefs, everything. This is your culture. Do you find one culture in India? Fine. Can I say that, okay, culture of north and south are same? Culture of east and west is same. Culture of center India, north India is same. Culture of Punjab and Haryana is same. Can I say this? Now Punjab and Haryana are neighboring states. Okay, you leave Punjab and Tamil Nadu. Punjab and Haryana are neighboring states. Do they have same culture? No. Fine. So understand this thing, but we see that society में तो क्या है? Common culture है. So when we talk about India, understand this thing. There are two viewpoints that actually come. ठीक है? A, India is a society. Fine. But a different type of a society, will understand that. Or second viewpoint that comes is that India is not a society, but India is a collection of societies. India is a collection of societies. India is not a one society in itself. India is rather a collection of a lot of societies. Is it clear or not? It is often said that India is a collection of societies. Okay. Fine. Now, understand this thing, guys, that when we talk about any definition with respect to the society, this is true that it is seen that society will be characterized by a common culture. That is true. But understand this particular thing. In the present age, given the hypermobility, along with the freedom of movement, and residence, you will be rarely be finding the society which will actually be having a common culture. Let me explain this particular point to you a little bit more. Today, what we find on the practical front, first of all, there is hypermobility today. In old times, if you have to go to a city, fine, there are a lot of barriers, there are a lot of resistance that is there. Okay, you will cross a jungle. In that jungle, there is a lion. Then there is a daku sitting there. Okay, waiting for you. Okay. आज के टाइम पे क्या है? You will take a flight and you can go to any part of the world. ठीक है? You go to any part of the world. Fine. That particular region might be having an entirely different culture. You will be having a different culture. Understand this thing. Due to the hypermobility, which is the reality of 21st century. ठीक है, थोड़ा प्रैक्टिकली देखते हैं. Given the hypermobility, which is the reality of 21st century, coupled with the freedom of movement and residence, you will actually rarely be finding that actually society, for any society for the practical purpose, is having a one common culture. Are you getting it or not? ठीक है. So what we actually find today, we find rather than monoculturalism, there is multiculturalism that we find. Rather than monoculturalism, what we find multiculturalism. ठीक है, अंडरस्टैंड, थोड़ा सा समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. फाइन. द पॉइंट दैट आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक इज दैट कॉमन कल्चर is seen as a characteristic of a society. But in the 21st century, which is characterized by the hypermobility, freedom of movement, we will rarely be finding the societies. ठीक है, I am not talking about India. You go any part of the world, you go in any country, you will rarely be finding a society which will actually be having this common culture. ठीक है, तो what we'll find today for the practical purpose, we find largely multicultural societies, and India in fact is also society multicultural society. But in multiculturalism there is a commonality that is there. Are you getting it or not? ये multiculturalism मिलने के बाद भी क्या बनता है इंडिया का? Composite culture. ठीक है, will write it also, don't worry. If you read the Constitution of India, Fundamental Duties, Article 51A, subclause F. Article 51A, subclause F. There's a word written. Article 51A, subclause F. A word is written that is composite culture of India. ठीक है? Let's understand this little bit more. Yes, that is true. We don't have one culture. Culture of North, culture of South is different. Culture of East, culture of West is different. But still, there is something which is common. You go to North, you go to South, we give a lot of value to a guest. Atithi Devo Bhava. ठीक है? You go any part of the country, fine, we believe in collectivism. ठीक है? You'll go to US. They US or the Western societies are individualistic societies. ठीक है? India is a collectivistic society. When there is a wedding in your home, you'll call everybody. जो भी आपकी फोन बुक में आप सबको बुलाओगे, आप ही की शादी, आपको पता ही नहीं है कि ये कौन लोग हैं. Are you getting it or not? Often this will happen that your parents are introducing that okay, he or she is she. ठीक है? वो आपको बता रहे हैं कि ये कौन है, आपको पता ही नहीं है कौन है, and this is your wedding. ठीक है? We all believe in collectivism. ठीक है? यूएस में ऐसा नहीं होगा. यूएस में these things are very private affair. You'll invite few people. ठीक है? आप अपने ऑफिस में अपने कोलिग को नहीं बुलाओगे. He'll understand that it was your private affair. वो भी बुरा नहीं मानेगा और आपको भी अलग नहीं लगेगा. Here you never talk with your neighbor. You don't invite them to a function. Your neighbors, they'll go in depression. कि that देखो, ठीक है, हमको नहीं बुलाया. Fine. Is it clear? बहुत बड़ी बात है. Why? Because we believe in collectivism. ठीक है? Collectivism, fine, the basically respect that we give to neighbor and a lot of things are there. वो अभी हम लोग देखेंगे diversity में, which are common. So understand this thing that for the practical purpose, you'll not literally be finding a common culture. Fine, you'll not be finding literally the monocultural societies. Rather, we'll find more or less multicultural societies. That is, multiple cultures are being practiced in a one social territory. So you take the map of India, ठीक है, the outline of the map of India. Okay, this is actually it is more of a political territory of India. Within this territory, there are a lot of cultures that are being practiced. So a lot of cultures in one territory, that is the multicultural society. These are the ones which we really be having today. But still, it doesn't mean that India doesn't has any commonness. In fact, we have a culture which is called as composite culture. In सबको मिलके एक अलग culture बन गया. That is called as composite culture, which is even mentioned in Article 51. Is it clear or not? ठीक है, थोड़ा सा एक बार अभी जाते हैं. When we talk about multicultural societies, I'll give you dictation here. What a multicultural society is? Multicultural society is one where there is no one culture, rather multiple cultures that are being followed. Now here we have certain models. Models of multicultural societies. ठीक है, models of multicultural society. What models we have here? First is salad ball model. Okay. Now, what salad ball model is? So, salad ball model is something like this. You might have seen a salad ball. In this salad ball, we have lot of veggies. For example, you have cucumber there, you have lettuce there, you have tomatoes there, you have olive, different veggies you have in a salad ball. Fine. You will find that all these veggies, they have their own taste, they have their own texture, they have their own color. ठीक है? their own taste, their own texture, their own color, everything is there. Fine. Also, you'll find that they are lying there in one wall, but they are not making any symmetry, they are not making any design, just they are lying there. Clear? Salad ball society. Salad ball societies are those where multiple cultures exist together, but they don't have any, or they don't have a lot of commonness. Is it clear also? Fine. Also, they don't give impression of some common pattern. Okay. When you talk about example of salad ball society, we have UK. UK is an example of salad ball society. You'll go in UK, ठीक है, United Kingdom, ठीक है, not Uttarakhand, United Kingdom की बात कर रहे हैं. So you go in UK, you find blacks are living there, Asians are living there, whites are living there, Hispanics are living there, all have their different culture and all are maintaining that particular different culture with minimal interference in each other's cultural life. White का culture अलग है, Asian का culture अलग है. Asian is following their own culture, whites are following their own culture with a minimal interference with each other. Is it clear? So as you have a salad ball, we have the different components in this salad ball. Everybody is maintaining their own texture. Everybody, fine, all of them are maintaining their own texture, own taste, own color. In the same way, all the different cultures will maintain their own uniqueness. Okay? Then after this, after the salad ball, next comes, after salad ball, next comes is patchwork fabric model. Patchwork fabric model. Okay. Also called as mosaic model. Mosaic model. Now, what is this patchwork fabric model or mosaic model? Now, see this thing. Suppose you have a sheet of, you have a fabric, okay, you have a quilt, you have this sheet of cloth, and this sheet of cloth is, let's say, made up of different patches of cloth. Different patches of cloth, they have been stitched together, and this particular sheet is prepared out of it. Fine. When you will see it from a distance, you'll find that actually it is one piece of cloth. It is one piece of cloth having a particular design, having a particular pattern. But when you go close, you'll find that actually it was not one piece of cloth. Rather, it is made up of multiple pieces of clothes. But these clothes have been stitched together in such a way. These individual pieces of clothes, they have come together in such a way that it depicts a kind of a uniformity. It depicts a kind of a pattern. It depicts a kind of a unison. It depicts a unison. It depicts a pattern. It depicts a similarity. Okay? For example, just you might have seen that often we put tiles on wall. Okay? For example, if you see this floor, this floor is made up of a lot of tiles. If I see it from a distance, I'll find that, okay, this is one giant piece of stone or whatever, or this is one slab. Like when I observe it closely, carefully, I find that, okay, no, it is not one piece. Rather, a lot of small pieces they have been put together, but they have put together in such a way that we ensure that a symmetrical design is followed. We ensure that a common pattern is followed. Fine. Now, when we talk about Indian society, most of the time Indian society is counted as a patchwork fabric type of society. Patchwork fabric type of society. If you see, now these different clothes, let's say that they are different cultures. They are different culture. Okay. Now in India, we have different cultures, yes or no? We have different cultures. But when you see India from a distance, you'll find that these cultures are arranged in such a way that they give a sense of unison. They show a common pattern. ठीक है? You'll go and you ask any American about Indian culture, what they'll say? They say Indian culture. समझ में आ रही है? वो इंडियन कल्चर की बात करते हैं, ठीक है? अभी उनके हिसाब से इंडियन कल्चर हैज अ सर्टेन कोर टेनेंट्स बाय विच दे कैन डिस्क्राइब एंटायर इंडियाज कल्चर, ठीक है? तो अभी अगर आप यूके और इंडिया की सोसाइटी देखोगे तो मल्टीपल कल्चर्स हैं, बट द वे दीज कल्चर्स आर अरेंज्ड टुगेदर दैट इज डिफरेंट थिंग. In salad ball, different cultures are there, but they don't project any unison with each other. They don't project any common connecting ground. They don't project any pattern. But in India, there are multiple cultures, but they have arranged in such a way that they show a kind of a common pattern. Is it clear or not? ठीक है? Fine. We'll write them also, don't worry. You just keep on scribbling. Then there comes one more, that is melting pot. Melting pot. Now what a melting pot society is, let's understand this. Suppose I take a giant pot, I put this pot on fire, and I am putting now different things in this pot. I put this pen made up of plastic, let's say, then I put this globe made up of plastic, okay? Then I put a plastic bottle, and this pot is being heated up. After some time, what I'll find in this pot? Will I be able to find this pen? क्या मिलेगा इस pot में मेरे को? I'll find a kind of a paste. I'll find a kind of a thick paste. ठीक है? Everything has melt, everything has fused together. So melting pot society क्या होती है? These are those societies where different cultures they fuse together with each other in such a way that entirely a new culture is formed, which will be based on the underlying cultures. ठीक है? यहां पे क्या है? यहां पे कल्चर्स साथ में हैं, लेकिन they have not fused together to create something new. Melting pot, for example, US. Now if you'll go to US, you'll find this particular thing. Now that is a fact. An Indian living in India, an Indian living in US will be entirely very different. उसको एक ही साल 2 ही साल गया हुआ है, लेकिन वो अमेरिकनाइज्ड इंडियन और दूसरा जो इंडिया में इंडियन रह रहा है वो अलग अलग हो जाएंगे. नाउ सी दिस थिंग. इन यूएस व्हाट हैज हैपेंड? कल्चर्स ऑफ ब्लैक पीपल, कल्चर ऑफ व्हाइट्स, कल्चर ऑफ एशियंस, ठीक है, कल्चर ऑफ जमाइकन पीपल, ये सब मिलके एक कोर अमेरिकन कल्चर बन गया जिसके अंदर में सबके ट्रेट्स हैं. इज इट क्लियर और नॉट? फाइन. सो व्हाट अ मेल्टिंग पॉट सोसाइटी इज, और व्हाट अ मेल्टिंग पॉट कल्चर इज, this is a type of a cultural setup in which multiple cultures come together and they fuse in such a way that an entirely different culture is formed, but that culture has the traits of all underlying cultures. Is it clear or not? ठीक है? Fine. Are we clear or not? Any question till this point? Fine. When we talk about India, most of the times we put India in the category of mosaic model, patchwork fabric model. Okay. Now, there is actually one more new aspect of multicultural society that has emerged. और अब देखो ये चीजें हैं जो आपसे पूछी जाती है in examination. First of all, let me tell you, recently BBC Asia has come out with one more new model, that is Thali model of society. And BBC Asia explains that Indian society can even better be explained with the help of Thali model. With the help of Thali model. Now what is this Thali model? ठीक है, अभी ये तो they are very old. Now what is this Thali model? To understand the Thali model, you need to understand few aspects. Okay. So basically guys, actually what happened, 2 years back there was one survey that was conducted in India. थोड़ा सा इसका background समझते हैं. There was one survey that was conducted in India by Pew Research Center. Pew Research Center conducted a survey in India. Now, this was a very big survey in terms of sample size. 30,000 people was a sample size. Fine. Now, in this Pew survey, certain questions were asked with the people. Fine. Certain questions were asked from the people. For example, that how much valuable the diversity is according to you. In this survey, 53% people 53% people said that they see diversity as a benefit. 53% people क्या बोले? That they see diversity as a benefit. Fine. 84% people said 84% people said that respecting all religions is very important to be truly Indian. Respecting all religion is very important to be truly Indian. Fine. Then a question was asked that okay, you feel all religions are important, you also value diversity. A question was asked that are you comfortable in marrying outside your religion? Are you accommodative of the idea that some person in your family marries outside the religion? 67% people replied that they are not open to interfaith marriages. They are not open to they are not open to the idea of interfaith marriages. And in fact, it was said that many of them are not even open to the idea of living in a neighborhood where the people of other religion are living. And this is common on both the sides, the majority as well as minority. ऐसा नहीं है कि majority का व्यू पॉइंट है, minority का भी यही व्यू पॉइंट है that we don't want to marry in the other religion, will prefer not to live in a area where the other religions people are living. Fine. This was the finding of the Pew Research survey. Okay. Now the name of the survey was Religious Tolerance in India. ठीक है. अभी यहां पे अगर आप देखते हो, something doesn't matches up. 53% people say diversity is important. 84% people say that all religions are equally important. सबको respect करना चाहिए. लेकिन when it comes of marriage, then 67% people are not comfortable with this idea. They are not okay with this particular idea. How to make? अब आप इन सारे डेटास को आप कैसे कंपाइल करते हो? How you see them together? ये कैसे हो रहा है? Now there are certain explanations that come. Explanation number 1, that are we hypocrites? ठीक है कि that when you are asking these questions, सही है, ठीक है, but when it comes to me, ठीक है कि भाई अच्छा रिलीजन, सारे रिलीजन ही इंपॉर्टेंट है, डाइवर्सिटी अच्छी है, सब कुछ अच्छा है, ओके, विल यू मैरी अ पर्सन आउटसाइड द रिलीजन? देन आई से दैट, देन आई गेट ऑफेंडेड, देन आई से दैट यू आर क्रॉसिंग योर बाउंड्रीज. फाइन. सो आर वी हिपोक्रेट्स? ठीक है, और देयर इज समथिंग एल्स, ठीक है. इसके एक्सप्लेनेशन से निकलेगा देन सैलड बॉल, द थाली मॉडल ऑफ सोसाइटी. Now, there are certain explanations that are given. Let's understand them. Explanation number 1, skyboxification. Skyboxification of Indian society. Skyboxification of Indian society on the lines of religion. Skyboxification of Indian society on the lines of religion. Okay. Now, see, ये जो words है ना, for example, skyboxification and all such things, you can use it across other papers also. essay में भी use कर सकते हो इसको, ethics में भी use कर सकते हो. Now, so idea of skyboxification, first of all, let's understand what is skyboxification and what does it means, skyboxification of Indian society. So American thinker Michael Sandel gave the idea of skyboxification. Michael Sandel, American thinker, philosopher, okay, gave the idea of skyboxification. Now, what skyboxification is, थोड़ा सा समझते हैं. So he gives the idea, or he talks about the baseball games. So he said that uh, 50, 60 years back, when baseball games were being held in US and when people used to watch them, when people used to go to watch them, there were common stands. मतलब एक ही टाइप का सिटिंग अरेंजमेंट होता था. Everybody would sit in the common stands and they'll watch the games. Now what has happened? There are different stands that have been created in the playgrounds. One is for rich people, they will have their own balconies, they will have their boxes. Then there are some common stands which are for the people who are from lower middle classes or are from poor classes. What they say now, Michael Sandel said that earlier when there were common stands, एक ही sitting है. So what was happening? Rich, poor, middle class, upper middle, lower middle class, all are interacting with each other because all are cheering for their favorite team. ठीक है? You have one favorite team, I have the same favorite team. You are rich, I am poor, but we have come together because our team is now playing. Fine. What they say that actually now division has happened in the playgrounds. Okay, in the stadiums these divisions have happened, and because of these divisions, now what happened? Rich people sit in their own compartment, middle class people they sit in their own compartment, poor people sit in their own compartment. They are not interacting with each other. They are not interacting with each other. They have got divided through certain walls. He explained that this skyboxification, now skyboxification kya hai? A rigid division that happened in the society on the basis of economic lines. He explains that this skyboxification is not only in the games, but it has happened everywhere in the American society. Rich and poor, they never interact. Rich people will live in separate neighborhoods. Poor people will live in some other neighborhoods. Rich people's children, they'll go to some other schools, different type of schools. Poor people's children will be going to the other schools, community schools. ठीक है? They will be shopping at different place. Their entertainments are now different. Their children play at different places. तो क्या है कि अमेरिका में एक्चुअल में this difference of rich, poor, it is so stark that they never come in contact with each other and they don't want to mingle with each other. So this is a skyboxification of American society, means rigid division of Indian society, rigid division of American society on the economic lines. ये है concept. Clear? Now this concept of skyboxification is being used to explain this Indian situation. It is said that actually what has happened in India also, skyboxification has happened. What is this skyboxification? Rigid division has happened. But in India, rather than the skyboxification on the lines of economy, skyboxification has happened on the lines of religion. And this is the thing that we don't want to marry. Okay? This is one explanation. Then there is also one more that comes here. Now this is personally I don't subscribe to this. Okay, and there is a better explanation that is actually there, the second one. Now socio-political thinker Ashish Nandi, socio-political thinker, has given idea of unheroic form of tolerance. Unheroic form of tolerance to explain this particular thing. Unheroic form of tolerance. Okay. Now, understand this thing. When we talk about tolerance, there is the idea of, there is a Western model of tolerance. There is a Western model of tolerance. This Western model of tolerance, it is said that it is, इस Western model of tolerance को बोलते हैं tolerance of enlightenment. Tolerance of enlightenment. Tolerance of enlightenment. Okay. Now, see this particular thing, understand this particular thing, that you all might be knowing about Renaissance. Renaissance के बारे में पता होगा. Somebody call it Renaissance, somebody call it Renaissance, whatever you आपको लगता है कि जो भी सही है. Renaissance के बारे में आप लोगों को पता होगा. What Renaissance was? So medieval ages in Europe, they were characterized by the domination of church. ठीक है. Pope was supreme authority on every matter of life. Fine. What happened? ये medieval ages के बाद में Renaissance came. Renaissance was the age of enlightenment, where the new ideas came, new thinking emerged. Now, when these new ideas and new thinking was emerging, what happened? Theory of humanism became very popular. Theory of humanism became very popular. Now, humanism provides this particular thing, that human is the most important entity in world, and everything should be for human. Everything should be for human welfare. Human is the most important area of concern. ये humanism से आता है. ठीक है. Now understand this thing, that tolerance also emerged here. The idea of tolerance also became popular here. So what tolerance ka idea is? Tolerance ka idea is to bear the other people even when they are not like you, and not to bear them. Have a brotherly love. कोई आपके जैसा नहीं है तब भी उसको प्यार करो. ठीक है. उसके व्यूज आपके जैसे नहीं है, still tolerate him, clear him or her. ठीक है. So bear other people, and not only bear, have a sense of love, have a sense of acceptance towards other people, irrespective of their color, irrespective of their views and everything. This was the idea of tolerance that emerged in West. ठीक है. इसको बोलते हैं Western model of tolerance or tolerance of enlightenment. Why? Because it was born, it was became popular during the time, during Renaissance. Renaissance को बोलते क्या? Age of enlightenment. Renaissance is called as age of enlightenment. This idea of tolerance became popular during that time, so this is called as the tolerance of enlightenment. ठीक है. Now let's go back. Ashish Nandi, he says that actually India का जो model of tolerance है, that is not this Western model of tolerance. He says that actually what has happened, we have this particular habit that हम हर चीज को समझने के लिए वेस्ट को कॉपी करते हैं. There is a Western model of tolerance, लेकिन एक्चुअल में Indian model of tolerance is something different, which he explains as unheroic form of tolerance. What happens in this unheroic form of tolerance? He say this particular thing. That India का tolerance is not to declare brotherly love towards each other. India का model of tolerance is not to declare brotherly love towards each other, but to live together and to have a sense of boundaries and not to bother, ठीक है, in each other's affair. That is the model of tolerance. थोड़ा सा समझते हैं. Ashish Nandi gives the example of a case study of Kochi. He says that actually Kochi, there are the people living, having different religions. There are Catholics, Hindus are there, Muslims are there, some Parsis are also there living in Kochi. And from past 400 years, no communal violence or no large scale communal violence has happened here, though people from so many different religions are living there. Why violence has not happened there? Because of the fact that all the religions, they maintain their respective boundaries and they don't go beyond a particular boundary. Because of this, what happens? Disputes get minimized. ठीक है. When now you see, जो Western model of tolerance है, Western idea of tolerance है, वहां पे actual में क्या है? You know that a person is not like you, but you are still bearing that particular person. ठीक है. Over a period of time, what it leads to? It leads to the pent up frustration in the mind. Indian model of tolerance is not that. Indian model of tolerance is this, that okay, you are different, I am different. Cool. I don't expect from you that you will declare a brotherly love, you will bear me, because a lot of things I might be doing which doesn't aligns with your thought process, and I don't expect that you accommodate me and also don't expect same thing from me. ये इंडिया का मॉडल ऑफ टॉलरेंस है, as explained by आशीष नंदी as unheroic form of tolerance. अब ये वर्ड unheroic क्यों है? Why this word unheroic? देखो, sacrificing was always seen as a hero like quality. ठीक है, so क्या है कि the heroes have been glorified in the western literature, और हीरो हमेशा क्या करता है? सेक्रीफाइस करता है. ये बोलते हैं कि दैट इंडिया के अंदर में हम बियर करते हैं बट हम विल नॉट सेक्रीफाइस फॉर ईच अदर, एंड दिस इज अ बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग जो सब में है. आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग समथिंग और नॉट? सो अनहीरोइक फॉर्म ऑफ टॉलरेंस इज द मॉडल ऑफ टॉलरेंस दैट वी फॉलो इन इंडिया. ठीक है, नाउ टू एक्सप्लेन इंडियन सोसाइटी देयर कम्स, अभी ये सब चीजें एक दूसरे में कनेक्ट हो जाएंगी. राइट नाउ दीज आइडियाज आर आइसोलेटेड बट दीज आइडियाज विल कनेक्ट नाउ. सो BBC Asia said that actually Indian society can better be explained with the help of a Thali model. With the help of a Thali model. Now, what is this Thali model? So, I'm pretty sure you might have seen a Thali. So, in Thali, what you'll find that there is a big plate. In this, there are these different compartments that are there, and different delicacies are there in these compartments. Yes or no? How you eat a thali? You are up, and I am sure you are not mixing everything right in the start and then eating it. ऐसा तो नहीं करते हो. ठीक है, fine. What you do? You'll take some rice, you'll mix it with dal and you'll consume it. ठीक है, you'll take chapati and you'll have it with dal, you'll have it with paneer or whatever it is there. ऐसे ही आप कर रहे हो. ठीक है, what you'll do, you'll take some rice, you'll mix it with the curd or the raita, you'll consume it. ठीक है, there will be gulab jamun, that gulab jamun you might consume with raita or something, आपका taste. ठीक है, my point is that what you do, you don't mix everything together. For the sake of convenience, you are bringing together the different dishes. Yes or no? अब आपका मन कर रहा है कि that okay, I want to pair rice with some this delicacy. आपने वो करा. Next time you will pair that delicacy with something else. ऐसा ही करते हो ना? So basically BBC Asia says that actually Indian society is a Thali society where what happens now, अभी समझो, ये different compartments हैं, boundaries. And ये different delicacies are different culture. Now, see, it means that अभी there is no देखो होता क्या है इंडियन सोसाइटी, अगर आप ऑब्जर्व करोगे, we will have friends from other religion. Yes or no? You are going to their birthday parties. You are going to their birthday parties. You are going to their weddings. ठीक है, you are classmates. बट मैरिज नहीं हो रही है. अभी समझते हैं क्या है ये. मतलब ये नहीं है कि दैट देयर इज अ काइंड ऑफ अ राइवलरी. ठीक है, इट डजंट मीन्स कि दैट देयर इज अ राइवलरी. ठीक है, देयर इज नो हेट, बट देयर इज अ सर्टेन अंडरस्टूड बाउंड्रीज दैट आर देयर. क्लियर? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट थाली, इन थाली देयर आर बाउंड्रीज, बट इन बाउंड्रीज का मतलब ये नहीं है कि that they'll not come together, they'll come together, but they will not come together in perpetuity. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि बस वो सबको एक साथ मिक्स ही कर दिया. Let's understand this thing. Means that in Indian society, all the different cultures live in their different compartments. They will cross these compartments and will come together for the sake of their convenience. For example, for the sake of birthday party, for the sake of attending each other's marriages, they'll be there. They might be they'll work together, they'll study in the same college, they'll study in the same school, but certain boundaries they'll never cross. Means in perpetuity they will not come together. Is it clear or not? In perpetuity मतलब अब ऐसा नहीं कि सबको एक साथ मिला ही दिया और खत्म, अब वो नहीं होगा. ठीक है, for the sake of their respective purpose they'll come together and then they'll go back. Fine. So this way Indian society is explained. It is explained that different religions are there. ठीक है, अब लेट्स गो बैक टू दिस पर्टिकुलर डेटा दैट वी हैड. 53% people say diversity is important. Yes, diversity is important. अलग अलग रिलीजन होने चाहिए, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. 84% people say that respecting every religion is true. Respecting my religion is there, I am following it. You have a different religion, you are following it, and I respect you for that. Then third question, that will you marry? Will not marry. Why? Because certain boundaries we don't cross. And ऐसा नहीं है I don't want to marry, the other person also doesn't want to marry. But इसका ये भी मतलब नहीं है कि that we are enemies. ठीक है, we work together, we go out on dinner together, but will not marry. Why? Because in perpetuity will not come together, as the different delicacies are not coming together for perpetuity. They come together and then they go back. Is it clear? यही है इंडिया का टॉलरेंस. This is the Indian tolerance. Now, every country had its own understanding of tolerance. You cannot say X is better or Y is better. ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं है कि that वही नहीं, हर कंट्री का एक अलग. न्यूक्लियर फैमिलीज आर देयर, जॉइंट फैमिलीज आर देयर. ठीक है, न्यूक्लियर फैमिलीज हैव देयर ओन way of living, joint families have their own way of living. We cannot say that okay, A is better or B is better. Are we clear or not? ठीक है, so here we have actually taken up a lot of things. Find models of multicultural society. What is Indian multiculturalism? Find the model of tolerance, Indian model of tolerance, Western model of tolerance. So multiple questions can be addressed from this particular discussion, and understand this thing. If you have seen previous papers, previous years papers, you'll find they वो ये question नहीं पूछते आपसे what is a family, what is marriage, what is caste. No, they ask certain such kind of a questions which will compel you to think beyond the conventional areas that are there. Caste में भी वो ये नहीं पूछेंगे what is caste. They'll ask a question that how caste and politics, how caste it, ऐसा क्वेश्चन आएगा, how caste influences politics. Do you think caste will be the axis that will drive politics in times to come? तो कास्ट का पॉलिटिक्स से रिलेशन, और क्या कास्ट पॉलिटिक्स को चलाएगा आगे भी? yes or no? if yes, then why? no, then why? ठीक है, so point is that here in the exam that we are giving, we need to have certain opinions which go beyond these basic things. समझ में आ रहा है या नहीं आ रहा? ठीक है, so we'll write few points here. Any question if you have first, you can ask. Yes, any question, any doubt if you have, first please ask your doubt, any part, and once we clear your doubt, then we'll take dictation and then we'll move to the next topic. हाँ जी, किसी का कोई डाउट नहीं है, मतलब एब्सोल्युटली क्लियर है? ठीक है, आई ऑफन से इन द क्लास के क्लियर होने का भी दो तरीके होते हैं. वन, इट इज क्लियर मीन्स क्लियर आउट, रूम से बाहर, विंडो से बाहर, कि सर कुछ ही नहीं समझ में आया, बिल्कुल क्लियर है. अदर क्लियर इज दैट वो पॉजिटिव वाला क्लियर है, दैट ओके आई अंडरस्टूड एवरीथिंग. सो आई थिंक इट इज नॉट फर्स्ट टाइप ऑफ क्लियर. वो पहला वाला क्लियर तो नहीं है ना? ठीक है, गुड, ओके, फाइन, प्लीज राइट. थोड़ा सा एक बार हम लोग अलाइन कर लेते हैं सो दैट यू एंड मी आर ऑन द सेम पेज. यू हैव गिवन द हेडिंग सेलिएंट फीचर्स ऑफ इंडियन सोसाइटी. ठीक है, आपने फिर लिखा होगा सोसाइटी इज अ कलेक्शन ऑफ इंडिविजुअल्स एंड देयर कंसिस्टेंट इंटरेक्शंस विद ईच अदर. फिर उसके बाद आपने लिखा होगा एट्रीब्यूट्स ऑफ सोसाइटी. ठीक है, देन यू माइट हैव रिटन कॉमन कल्चर, देन you might have written camaraderie. Is it clear or not? This is something that you have written till now. Okay, and then you might have scribbled all that we have taken up. Now please give a heading, please a kind of a subheading. Please give a subheading. Models of multicultural society. Models of multicultural society. Write in bracket cultural alignments. Cultural alignments and India. Cultural alignments and India. Fine. Cultural alignments and India. So this is something that we are now going to discuss. ये उसी में ही है. This is in the that same point. Please write. Though common culture is seen as a major attribute of society, though common culture is seen as a major attribute of society, however 21st century is characterized by hypermobility, induced by globalization. Hypermobility induced by globalization. ठीक है, ग्लोबलाइजेशन की वजह से इतना ज्यादा लोगों का मूवमेंट हो रहा है एंड ऑल द टाइम कल्चर का एक्सचेंज हो रहा है कि दैट एक कल्चर, कॉमन कल्चर, ठीक है. हाइपर मोबिलिटी इंड्यूस्ड बाय ग्लोबलाइजेशन एंड फ्रीडम ऑफ मूवमेंट एंड रेजिडेंस. फ्रीडम ऑफ मूवमेंट एंड रेजिडेंस. Full stop. Therefore, for practical purposes, rather than truly monocultural societies, one finds multicultural societies. However, in multiculturalism, there can be alignments with each other's culture. There can be alignments with each other's cultures. There can be alignments with each other's cultures. Give a small subheading: major models of multicultural society. Major models of multicultural society. Number one, salad ball. Here different cultures coexist together. But they maintain their own unique cultural outlook, with minimal interference in each other's cultural life. Minimal interference in each other's cultural life. with each other's cultural life. ब्रैकेट में लिख लो ब्रिटिश सोसाइटी. नेक्स्ट, पैचवर्क फैब्रिक मोजाइक मॉडल. पैचवर्क फैब्रिक मॉडल, मोजाइक मॉडल. मल्टीपल कल्चर्स को एग्जिस्ट. मल्टीपल कल्चर्स को एग्जिस्ट. मल्टीपल कल्चर्स को एग्जिस्ट, but they come together in such a way, but they come together in such a way that they project, they come together in such a way that they project a sense of, they project a sense of unison, they project a sense of unison full stop. Cultural just a minute, in this model, in this model cultural alignment, in this model cultural alignment is more than, cultural alignment is more than salad ball, is more than salad ball. कल्चरल अलाइनमेंट का मतलब एक दूसरे के कल्चर के साथ में अलाइनमेंट थोड़ी सी ज्यादा है कंपेयर टू द सैलड बॉल. कल्चरल अलाइनमेंट मींस अलाइनमेंट विद ईच अदर्स कल्चर. नेक्स्ट, थर्ड वन, मेल्टिंग पॉट. different cultures not only coexist, different cultures not only coexist, different cultures not only coexist, rather they come together in such a way, different cultures not only coexist, rather they come together in such a way they come together in such a way that a sense of cultural fusion happens, that a type of cultural fusion happens, that a type of cultural fusion happens. They come together in such a way that a type of cultural fusion happens. And a new and consolidated culture is formed. And a new consolidated culture is formed. And a new consolidated culture is formed which contains influence of all the underlying cultures, all the underlying cultures, all the underlying cultures, all the underlying cultures. ठीक है, तो जो जितने नीचे अंडरलाइंग कल्चर से फ्यूजन से बना है उन सब कल्चर का कुछ ना कुछ इन्फ्लुएंस ट्रेट्स विल बी मैनिफेस्टेड इन द culture that has been formed. Next, melting pot. US is example of melting pot. Please write Thali pot, Thali model. Thali model. Thali model. Recently, BBC Asia classified Indian society. Recently, BBC Asia classified Indian society. Recently, BBC Asia classified Indian society as Thali type of as with the help of Thali model. With the help of Thali model. With the help of Thali model. Thali model. Thali model is a setup. Thali model is a setup where different cultures, where different cultures exist, where different cultures exist, where different cultures exist in different compartments, where different cultures exist in different compartments, similar to a thali, similar to a thali, similar to a thali, where different delicacies, similar to a thali, where different delicacies similar to a thali, where different delicacies or dishes, जो भी आपको लगे वो भी लिख सकते हो, where different delicacies or dishes exist in a different compartment. Full stop. However, 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 as delicacies can be brought together, however, as delicacies can be brought together for the sake of convenience, for the sake of convenience, for the sake of convenience, in the same way, in the same way, different cultures come together, different cultures come together for the sake of their respective purposes, different cultures come together for the sake of their respective purposes, come together for the sake of their respective purposes. Is it clear or not? चेंज पैराग्राफ, चेंज पैराग्राफ इसी में थाली मॉडल में लिखेंगे. इन इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट इट मीन्स, in Indian context it means that there is no, it means that there is no rivalry, that there is no rivalry particularly between religions, particularly between religions, particularly between religions. However, there are certain, however, there are certain hard boundaries, there are certain hard boundaries which are not, there are certain hard boundaries which are not crossed. Fine. Such as marriage, such as marriage between different religions, such as marriage between different religion. but it doesn't means but it doesn't means but it doesn't means that there is no tolerance. But it doesn't means that there is no tolerance. Give us a heading. Unheroic model of tolerance. Unheroic model of tolerance. Unheroic model of tolerance. Unheroic model of tolerance. Socio-political thinker. Ashish Nandi. Socio-political thinker Ashish Nandi explains Indian brand of tolerance. Explains Indian brand of tolerance as unheroic. Explains Indian brand of tolerance as unheroic form of tolerance. As unheroic form of tolerance, which is distinct and different, than Western model of tolerance, which is distinct and different than Western model of tolerance. Western model expects community expects communities to divest divest to divest means to give away, to divest prejudices against each other, to divest prejudices against each other, to divest prejudices against each other, and to declare brotherly love, and to declare brotherly love towards other cultures, and to declare brotherly love towards other culture. ठीक है, आपको ब्रदरली लव डिक्लेयर करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, कंटिन्यू. However, Indian model of tolerance allows interactions. However, Indian model of tolerance allows interaction and accommodation. Allows interaction and accommodation for various purposes. For various purposes. Without forcing each other. Without forcing each other to declare brotherly love. Is it clear or not? ठीक है, fine. So that pure research survey we have used to give you a link. that भाई ये BBC एशिया का जो मॉडल है वो क्यों आया? वो इसलिए आया क्योंकि a lot of people saying that you say diversity is important, you say respecting all religion is important, then why you don't marry? So it is to explain that we respect other religion, we believe diversity is important, but we don't believe in marrying because certain mutually agreed boundaries are there. मतलब दोनों कल्चर्स, दोनों रिलीजन्स ने कुछ बाउंड्रीज बनाई हुई हैं which are not meant to be crossed, and this is mutual from both of the sides. Are we clear? First I'll just interrupt here क्योंकि फिर आगे. Is marriage a personal choice in India? Marriage is everything. मतलब बोला जाता है, लेकिन marriage can be everything but not a personal choice. ठीक है, आपको शादी किससे करनी है, उसमें आपके पड़ोसी क्या सोचेंगे, what your parents want, what your neighbors will think, या आपकी शादी क्या हुई, किससे हुई, उसमें सबको इंटरेस्ट है. ठीक है, नाउ प्लीज कंटिन्यू. मतलब दिस इज प्रैक्टिकल. मैं आपको मतलब क्या है कि दैट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. यू कैन से दैट मैरिज इज अ पर्सनल चॉइस व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द वेस्टर्न सोसाइटीज. ठीक है, योर पेरेंट्स इवन डोंट बॉदर कि आप शादी करो ना करो. ठीक है, करनी है तो मेल से करो, फीमेल से करो. बट इन इंडिया दैट इज द फैक्ट. ठीक है, प्लीज.
Indian society, our parents also don't need to marry in other castes. Can we say that it is not only in religion, it's also caste based?
Yes, it is. It is there. ठीक है, it is there in the religion, it is there in the caste. जब हम बाउंड्रीज की बात कर रहे हैं ना, religion is something in whose context this Pew survey came and then the BBC Asia came out with the Thali survey. But boundary एक religion की ही नहीं है. बाउंड्री बहुत सारी चीजों की है. बाउंड्रीज ऑफ रिलीजन, बाउंड्रीज ऑफ कास्ट, बाउंड्रीज ऑफ नॉर्थ साउथ डिवाइड, ईस्ट वेस्ट डिवाइड. ठीक है, वो तो आर यू गेटिंग इट और नॉट? तो यस, यू आर राइट. फाइन. इज योर क्वेश्चन आंसर्ड? फाइन. ओके, कैन वी मूव? So the first we have seen that there is a common culture which brings a sense of camaraderie. ठीक है, अब कल्चर, कॉमन कल्चर, मल्टीकल्चरलिज्म, वो सब हमने डिस्कशन देख लिए हैं. नाउ लेट्स मूव ऑन एंड सेकंड एट्रीब्यूट ऑफ सोसाइटी. देयर विल बी इंटरडिपेंडेंस. सोसाइटी में क्या होना चाहिए? देयर हैज टू बी इन सोसाइटी इंटरडिपेंडेंस. Interdependence generates reciprocative awareness. It generates reciprocative awareness. Understand this particular thing, that when we talk about a society can be there without individuals? No. Society के लिए collection of individuals तो होना ही पड़ेगा. Understand this thing. Now, why you don't go on Himalayas and live there? Why you don't go on Himalayas और वहां जाके क्यों नहीं रहते हो आप? You will find clean air, more cleaner air. ठीक है, नेचर के पास में रहोगे. Why you don't go and why you don't live there? Isolated हो जाओगे. See, on Himalayas, how your demands would be met. ठीक है, you have dependence on the other people for a lot of things. ठीक है. So, for example, many of you might have come from nearby cities or nearby villages here in Bhubaneswar so that you can get a good education. In a way, you are dependent on certain people or certain institutes for good education. Is it clear or not? ठीक है. We are dependent on a lot of things. तो अगर interdependence होगा तो reciprocative awareness will come. What does it reciprocative awareness means? Reciprocative awareness is an awareness that I need you, you need me. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. This interdependence, जब हमको एक दूसरे की जरूरत है तभी हमको समझ में आता है एक दूसरे का वैल्यू. Yes or no? Is it clear or not? ठीक है, you have your friend, ठीक है, he is very rich, ठीक है, and you are very funny. ठीक है, he needs you for time pass and you needs him for a lot of things. Is it clear or not? Interdependence. Understand this thing, that when we talk about a society has to be a collection of individuals, and when individuals will live together, they will live together when they know that we need each other. एक दूसरे के बिना काम नहीं चलेगा. Clear? So interdependence keeps society intact. Are you getting it or not? ठीक है. So society will have interdependence. Interdependence will create reciprocative awareness. Awareness that we need each other. ठीक है? And this reciprocative awareness will keep individuals together. Society will continue. Will keep individuals together. Clear hai? Can we move to the next one? Third, there will be a pattern of interaction. There will be a pattern of interaction. There will be a pattern of interaction. ठीक है? Every society will have an acceptable pattern of interaction and an unacceptable pattern of interaction. Let's understand it with the help of certain examples. There is a particular way you'll behave with your father. You'll talk with your father. There is a particular way you'll talk with your friends. The way you are talking with your friends, you'll not use that pattern while you are talking with your parents. One, थोड़ा सा और deeper जाते हैं. Let's go little bit more academic. That is just to give you a understanding. See, when we talk about marriage, okay, when we talk about a marriage, understand this particular thing, that in context of India, heterosexual, देखो, in marriages also there is a pattern. In marriages also there is a pattern. For example, there is a heterosexuality is one pattern in marriage. Heterosexuality is one pattern in marriage. Means a marriage of male and female only can happen. ठीक है? When we talk about India, we believe that marriages have to be heterosexual. Homosexual pattern of marriage is not allowed. Homosexual pattern of marriage might be allowed in some other countries. There, homosexual, heterosexual is both allowed. Is it clear or not? Certain cultures, ठीक है? There is cross cousin marriages that are allowed. Certain cultures, cross cousin marriages are not allowed. Are you getting it or not? When we talk about the pattern of interactions, what type of interactions, what type of ways in देखो, marriage एक type of interaction है. Marriage is an institution. Okay, marriage. By the way, what is difference between marriage and wedding? Marriage and wedding, what is difference? We all the time use this word, na, that okay, I'm going to marriage, I'm going to wedding. What is difference between these two? Okay, and wedding is? Okay. Yes, understand this thing because I am using it again and again. Wedding is that event. Wedding is that one day event when you go and 2 घंटे बाद आ जाते हो. ठीक है, many events you would have attended even when you are not invited. तो वो wedding है. What marriage is? Marriage is the lifelong institution when two people are tied together and will have responsibilities and duties towards each other. So that lifelong institution is marriage and that event is wedding. So basically, when we talk about marriage, marriage is a lifelong interaction between two individuals. ठीक है? And marriages of heterosexual nature are allowed, homosexual is not allowed. This is a rule or this is a pattern of interaction that is followed in Indian society. Yes or no? ठीक है? Cross cousin marriages, certain cultures will allow it, certain cultures will not allow it. ठीक है? Premarital sex, certain cultures will not be treating it as a taboo. Certain cultures, for them, it is a very big thing. ठीक है? So there are certain acceptable and unacceptable patterns of interaction which will be different in every society. Is it clear or not? ठीक है, इसको थोड़ा सा और लिख लेते हैं. Pattern of interaction. Every society would have its own norms. Every society would have its own norms with respect to. Every society would have its own norms with respect to acceptable and unacceptable. With respect to acceptable and unacceptable forms of interaction. Acceptable and unacceptable forms of interaction. For example, homosexual marital interaction, for example, homosexual marital interaction is largely unrecognized by society, is largely unrecognized by society as well as by law, as well as by law. ठीक है. Do we allow homosexual people to get married? No. Special Marriage Act defines marriage has to be a heterosexual marriage. Full stop. Similarly, cross cousin marriages are allowed in certain cultures, wherever in some other cultures they are seen as unacceptable. Whereas in some other cultures they are seen as unacceptable. ठीक है. Next, fourth point. So interdependence, pattern of interaction. Then fourth, a society will have a social territory. A society will have a social territory. ठीक है. A social territory will be there. A society will have a social territory. So एक एक्सपांस होगा ना, एक टेरिटरी होगी जिसमें सोसाइटी रहेगी. ठीक है. A society will have a social territory. Now, two things you need to understand. This social territory might not overlap the political territory. ठीक है. So, if you see map of India, the outline of India's map, वो इंडिया की पॉलिटिकल टेरिटरी है. इंडिया की क्या है वो? पॉलिटिकल टेरिटरी है. You have two states. Let's say there is Madhya Pradesh, there is Rajasthan. You'll find that there is a बाउंड्री ऑफ मध्य प्रदेश, राजस्थान की एक बाउंड्री है, वो क्या है? उनकी पॉलिटिकल टेरिटरी है. सोशल टेरिटरी कैन बी वाइड देन द पॉलिटिकल टेरिटरी, इट कैन बी स्मॉल देन द पॉलिटिकल टेरिटरी. फॉर एग्जांपल, सपोज दिस इज इंडियन, दिस इज इंडियन पंजाब, एंड टुवर्ड्स पाकिस्तान ऑल्सो देयर इज पंजाब. ठीक है, फाइन. Now you'll find this particular thing that suppose, okay, this is a political boundary between India and Pakistan. Okay, this is a political boundary between India and Pakistan. But the people living here and people living here, they might be having very same kind of, they might be having a same culture or not. ठीक है, तो social territory जो है, that might be this. Political territory is this one. Political territory is this one. ठीक है, तो when we talk about society, ठीक है, see, political boundaries are created today. ठीक है, but people have lived together for since ages, and as they have lived together, they had certain shared beliefs, they had certain shared way of living. You come today and you make a boundary, political boundary बन गया, वो social boundary नहीं है. So a social territory will be there. Fine. Social territory means that particular expanse where people are following the same kind of a culture. That social territory can overlap with political territory, may not overlap with the political territory. Sometimes political territory are created along the natural barriers. Is it clear or not? For example, ये country है, बीच में ocean है 1000 किलोमीटर का, एंड दूसरा country आ गया. अब obviously यहाँ political territory भी end हो रहा है और social territory भी end हो जाएगा. ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं होगा कि that okay, people here and fishes here have same culture. Fine. So this is the next degree of independence. A society has to be relatively, a society degree of independence, a society has to be relatively self-contained. A society has to be relatively self-contained. Pay attention on the word I am saying, relatively self-contained. ठीक है, कोई भी सोसाइटी फुल्ली सेल्फ कंटेन्ड नहीं हो सकती है. यू ऑल द टाइम आर डिपेंडेंट ऑन अदर पीपल. So society has to be relatively self-contained. What it means? A society needs not to be dependent too much on the other society. If a society is too much dependent on the other society, means के that वो उसी society का part है फिर. Are you getting it or not? ठीक है. So see, this is one society, this is another society. Occasionally this society will depend on this or interact with this. But if all the time this society is dependent on this, it means that this is not an independent society. This society is the part of this. ये एक ही society है. Fine. Next. Notion of distinctness. Notion of distinctness. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, ये अलग पॉइंट है. तो हमने क्या क्या देख लिया? सबसे पहले हमने देख लिया कल्चर. सेकेंड वी हैव सीन इंटरडिपेंडेंस. थर्ड वी हैव सीन पैटर्न ऑफ इंटरैक्शन. फोर्थ वी हैव सीन सोशल टेरिटरी. फिफ्थ वी हैव सीन डिग्री ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस. एंड नाउ सिक्स्थ इज नोशन ऑफ डिस्टिंक्टनेस. नोशन ऑफ डिस्टिंक्टनेस. अ सोसाइटी हैज टू बी डिस्टिंक्ट फ्रॉम द अदर सोसाइटी. अगर दो सोसाइटी बिल्कुल एक जैसी है तो वो अलग सोसाइटी नहीं है, वो तो एक ही सोसाइटी है. क्लियर और नॉट? फाइन. हाउ यू कैन से, सी आई एंड somebody else here, we are different individuals. How you can tell we are different? Because we look different, we speak differently, we have different, everything different. अगर दोनों लोग एक जैसे हैं तो means, ठीक है. So society has to be distinct from the others. Okay. So these are the major attributes of a society. These are the major attributes of a society. Now let's talk about the features of Indian society specifically. ठीक है. तो now we'll come on to the features of Indian society specifically. So give a heading. Features of Indian society. Features of Indian society. Number one, कुल, that is family. Kul, that is family, is the basic unit of organization. Kul or family is basic unit of organization. Kul or the family is basic unit of organization. Family is the most important one that we have. So basic unit of organization is family. Family first. Now when we talk about a family, a family is basic unit of socialization. Basic unit of socialization. And it can come in existence via, number one, marital affinity. It can come in existence via marital affinity. Marital affinity. Marital affinity is a relation that is created between two individuals because of marriage. ठीक है. Write a couple of lines. Marriage क्या होती है? How you define marriage? How you define marriage? ओके okay. ठीक है. दो लाइन लिखते हैं यहाँ पे. Marriage is a heterosexual union. Marriage is a heterosexual union which fulfills biopsychic and social instincts of a human. Which fulfills biopsychic and social instincts of a human. biological instincts. For example, instincts to involve in sexual gratification, ये एक biological instinct है. Psychological instinct, fine, you need somebody with whom you can share your emotions, you need somebody who can be with you in the times of thick and thin, उसके लिए शादी की जरूरत है. Social instincts, are you getting it or not? So marriage is a heterosexual union which fulfills biopsychic and social instincts of a human. Please write. It admits men and women, it admits men and women to a family life. It admits men and women to a family life and fixes certain rights and duties. It admits men and women in family life. It admits men and women in family life and fixes certain rights and duties. Fixes certain rights and duties in respect to children that are born out of such union. Marriage also provides avenue. Marriage also provides avenue for legitimate procreation. Marriage also provides avenue for legitimate procreation. Fine. Okay, legitimate reproduction is provided. या लिखना नहीं है, ये समझा रहा हूं मैं. Legitimate reproduction is provided through marriage. Children born without a marriage, they are often not seen as legitimate. So marriage legitimizes a procreation. Fine. So this is the marriage. Now family can come in existence through one, marital affinity, that is a relation between two people because of marriage. Second, consanguinity. Consanguinity. What is consanguinity? Consanguinity is a relation between two people who share a common ancestor. Relation between two people who share a common ancestor. Now, a man and a woman. Okay, a man and a woman. Both are married. Can I say that this is a family? A man and women both are married. ये family है क्या? Yes, this is a family. Why? Because they both are related through marriage. Let's say now they have two children. Now these two children, are they the part of a same family or not? Why? Because they both share a common ancestor. इन दोनों के क्या है? Common ancestor है. Suppose here, unmarried sister of the husband also lives together in this household. Is she part of family or not? She part of a family. Why? Because she and her brother, they have again a common ancestor. So family can come in existence through marital affinity. Consanguinity. Consanguinity is a relation between two individuals via a common ancestor. Relation between two individuals through a common ancestor. Thirdly, marriage can come in existence through adoption. There can be adoption through which a family can come in existence. Adoption. Same family, what they did, they adopted a kid. Now obviously marital affinity will not be there, consanguinity भी नहीं हो सकता है, but this kid be the part of this family, will be counted the part of this family? Yes, will be counted the part of this family because his relation is through adoption. ठीक है. Fourthly, a family will entail A family will entail economic plus emotional cooperation. A family will entail economic plus emotional cooperation. Now listen very carefully. But if only economic or emotional relation is there, it is not a family. Family में economic or emotional reciprocation, economic and emotional cooperation will be there, but it has to be together with any of this condition. ठीक है? All the time we use these words that, for example, suppose you are living with a roommate, fine, you are living in, let's say, a shared accommodation, you'll say that, sir, we are like a family. ठीक है? We order pizza. ठीक है? Last time we ordered pizza, my friend paid. This time we ordered pizza, again my friend paid. We are a family. ठीक है? जो इसका है वो मेरा है, जो मेरा है वो तो मेरा है ही. ठीक है? We are a family. So no, yes, ठीक है, you have an economic cooperation. ठीक है, you might have emotional cooperation also. You gave prelims examination, maybe दोनों का clear नहीं हुआ. Then in evening you are sharing your pain with each other. ठीक है, emotional cooperation, but you are not a family. A family is a institution which will have certain legal responsibilities towards each other. Understand this thing. You have a legal responsibility towards your parents. There is a Maintenance of Parents and Senior Citizens Act, a law drafted in 2007. You have to give maintenance to your parents if they are old. Legal relation है वहाँ पे. You can legally claim the property of your parents. Is it clear or not? Husband and wife, there is a legal relation between them. ठीक है? Under CRPC, maintenance has to be given by a husband to a wife. Even the adopted kid that is there, adopted kid also have certain legal rights on the parents. ठीक है? Now you are staying together. It is not a family, it is a household. It is a household. तो फैमिली में ये होगा इकोनॉमिक एंड इमोशनल कॉपरेशन, बट ओनली इफ दिस इज देयर, देन इट इज नॉट अ फैमिली. इट हैज टू कोएग्जिस्ट विद दीज. ठीक है? सो फैमिली इज द बेसिक यूनिट ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. फैमिली इज द बेसिक यूनिट ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. आर वी क्लियर ऑन दिस पॉइंट? नाउ अंडरस्टैंड दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग दैट एज वी टॉक अबाउट फैमिली, तो फैमिली को थोड़ा सा और डिस्कस कर लेते हैं, सो दैट ऑल द थिंग्स दैट आर देयर विद रिस्पेक्ट टू फैमिली वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट. फैमिली, types of family. Types of family. Now there are different types of families, and these types can be understood on different bases, on different grounds. ठीक है? तो multiple bases are there to understand or to see a family, type of a family. First is on the basis of lineage. On the basis of lineage. On the basis of lineage. Now when we talk about lineage, what lineage entails? Lineage entails that from which side you are tracing your bloodline. For example, you trace your bloodline from the side of your father, grandfather, great grandfather. So we have an example, we can have two types of families on the basis of lineage: matrilineal family and patrilineal family. Matrilineal family and patrilineal family. Matrilineal family are the ones who identify bloodline or their descent from the side of their mother. Patrilineal families are the ones who will identify the descent or bloodline from the side of father. That is patrilineal. Fine. Now majority of families that are there in India, they follow patrilineality, but some examples of matrilineality also we have. ठीक है? Patrilineality is तो है, 99% are following the patrilineality. तो matrilineality के examples हैं, please write. Garos and Khasi of Meghalaya. Garo and Khasi of Meghalaya. Nayars and Thiyas. Nayar and Thiya of Kerala. Nayas and Thiyas of Kerala. Bellavas and Bant of Karnataka. Bellavas and Bant from of Karnataka. Bellavas and Bant of Karnataka. So these are the communities that follow matrilineality. But even in them, matrilineality is now going down. Matrilineality is now getting reduced even in them. Very few individuals, actually Nayars today, are actually following matrilineality. What has happened? They have moved towards the patrilineality. And why this has happened? This has happened because of the British influence, colonial influence. थोड़ा सा समझते हैं इस बात को. Understand this particular thing, that what happened? British, when they came to India, they had strict standards, and the British standards, social standards, are called as the Victorian standards of society and morality. So British standards of society, British standards of morality, they are referred to as Victorian standards of society and morality. In these Victorian standards, heterosexuality is something which was a very big thing for them. अगर आप देखोगे तो इंडिया में भी होमोसेक्सुअलिटी बिकेम टैबू. होमोसेक्सुअलिटी क्रिमिनलाइज कब हुई इंडिया में? होमोसेक्सुअलिटी गॉट क्रिमिनलाइज्ड विद द IPC which came in 1860. It was drafted by the Britishers. Before that, homosexuality was not a big taboo in India. So heterosexuality was a very big deal for them. Patrilineality was a very big deal for them. Certain communities which were following matrilineality, they were not basically they were seen with a kind of a disdain. ठीक है? And what happened over the years, this particular impression was created that actually patrilineality is a normal thing, patrilineality is a norm, and everything that is happening, it is an aberration, it is a deviation. So what happened now? Many communities, they are also moving towards the patrilineality because it is seen as a norm. Fine. Next, on the basis of authority, second classification on basis of authority. Now see, when we talk about authority, we have patriarchal and matriarchal. Patriarchal families, matriarchal families, or patriarchy and matriarchy. Now, patriarchy, decision making will be in the hands of eldest male. But matriarchy, decision making will be in the hand of female. Do we have some example of matriarchy? Which examples? खाप पंचायत अलग चीज है. खाप पंचायत आर द कास्ट बेस्ड पंचायत्स. ठीक है, that is a different thing. Now see, sociologists, they have a debate that whether there actually have been ever true matriarchies or not. And right now the big opinion that is there is that actually क्या है ना, society में matriarchies have never been there. ठीक है, now understand this thing. Matrilineality and matriarchy are not same. Matrilineality मतलब क्या है कि that you are identifying your bloodline from the side of mother, but decision maker can still be father. Clear? We have one example here. We talked about Nayars. Okay. Now, when we talk about Nayars were fighting community. Nayars were the warlords in the old times. Nayars में क्या होता था ना? Nayars, they had matrilineality and they also had the matrilocality. Matrilocality means after the marriage, husband, the wife will stay in her own home and husband will go and will visit the wife in the home of wife. ठीक है? What actually happened here also, matrilineality was there, matrilocality was referred or was followed earlier, but decision making was in the hand of the brother of the wife, Karanavar. So Karanavar कौन है? Brother of the wife. He had all the power with respect to the decision making. Okay, so wife's brother Karanavar, he'll the one who will be taking all the important decisions. तो यहाँ पे matrilineality है, matrilocality है, ठीक है, but matriarchy is not there. Even when we talk about the Garo Khasis, they also don't have the matriarchy. Is it clear or not? So true matriarchies, do they exist or not? It is a matter of dispute. So one point again I'll repeat, matrilineality, matrilocality, fine, doesn't pertain to matriarchy. Even Nayars which followed matrilineality, they did not follow matriarchy. They had patriarchy within matrilineality. समझ में आ रहा है? I hope it is not confusing you. It's clear to everyone? One thing. Second thing, many of you might say that in our family, my mother is one who has all the decision making power. She is the one who has all the decisions in economic matters and everything. See, your family might follow matrifocality. Now, what is matrifocality? Matrifocality is to give where the women are given important position. Women are focused, but again, matrifocality is not matriarchy. समझ में आ रहा है? Where women are given importance, that is matrifocality. But matriarchy is के ultimate decision making power किसके पास में होता है? Men. One more thing is that principal karta in patriarchy is male. Who is principal karta? So who will head the major rituals? So there is Havan. There are many rituals associated with a lot of ceremonies. ठीक है? तो उन rituals के अंदर में principal karta मतलब one who is heading the ritual वहां देखा जाता है. So even in your family, all the decisions are being taken by the mother, but the principal karta in all the rituals will be your father. Is it clear or not? So matriarchy में क्या होगा? Decision making will be with the female. Patriarchy, decision making will be with the male. Whether there have been true matriarchies, this is a matter of debate still. Please write one line. Existence of matriarchy, existence of true matriarchy, existence of true matriarchy existence of true matriarchy is debated by sociologists. What we have written? थोड़ा सा इतना तेज बोलो कि आए मेरे को सुन जाए. Sociologists, right? For example, Garos and Khasis. For example, Garos and Khasis practice matrilineality, comma matrilocality, and considerable autonomy is given to women. But still, they don't follow true matriarchal structures. Okay, why? Because decision making power is in male's hand. Fine. Okay, then third classification can be on the basis of marriage. You understood the difference between marriage and wedding? Now marriage can be there can be monogamy, there can be polygamy. Monogamy is one person marrying one person. Monogamy can be of two types. Monogamy can be of two types. That is straight monogamy and serial monogamy. Straight monogamy means you marry once in a life. ठीक है, in old Bollywood movies you might have seen this कि that it is said कि that मेरी डोली आई थी अर्थी जाएगी, means that once I am married with you, don't think that you can get rid of me, there is a divorce. ऐसा नहीं है, ठीक है. You are married for life and you marry for one person, ठीक है. अब उसी के साथ में सब चलेगा. That is straight. What is serial? Serial is one you marry with a one person at a time. You marry with one person at a time means you can marry a person, you can seek divorce, you can marry another person. You can seek divorce, you can marry another person. So straight monogamy is marrying one person for a life. Marrying one person for a life. And serial monogamy is to marry one person at a time. You can seek divorce and can move to the another person. ठीक है. As of the laws that we have in India, we recognize the right to divorce. Yes or no? But was divorce particularly for women recognized before independence? Old times before independence, when we did not had liberal laws, did we had the right of divorce for women? We didn't had. Okay, right of divorce for women was not recognized. Now women have been given the right to divorce. So this is an influence of modernity, but this is a positive influence of modernity. What is happening? Women are being given a choice that if they are in toxic relation, what they can do, they can decide to terminate that particular toxic relation through a divorce and can move to a new beginning in their life. Okay, so can I say that because of the first of all, can I say that earlier India followed straight monogamy? आज के टाइम पे इंडिया फॉलोज सीरियल मोनोगैमी विद एन ऑप्शन टू स्ट्रेट मोनोगैमी. अब देखो थोड़ा सा ना समझो इस चीज को. इंडिया में यू आर अलाउड, ठीक है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द स्पेशल मैरिज एक्ट, व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट, ठीक है, even Parsi marriage act, when we talk about it, they recognize only monogamy. ठीक है, bigamy, polygamy is not recognized. Okay, in Shariat it is recognized, but Hindu marriage act, special marriage act, Parsi marriage act, Christian marriage act, only monogamy is recognized. But the type of monogamy that we have today, it is a serial monogamy. It is a serial monogamy, means you have the right to divorce and you can marry another person whenever you want. But society still follows serial और straight. Straight. हमारी सोसाइटी के अंदर में आज डाइवोर्स एक बहुत बड़ा सोशल फिनोमिना है which we are not very comfortable with. Is it clear or not? We'll do everything in our capacity to make the marriage work. ठीक है. So these are certain things that you should be mindful about. So one thing that I was saying, that what happened with the emergence of modern liberal law, straight monogamy that was largely followed in India, it got converted in the serial monogamy. And we will say that it is a positive influence of modernity on Indian society. ठीक है. Why will say that it is a positive impact of modernity? Because at the end of the day, many women who suffer in toxic relations, they have been given an element of choice. Is it clear or not? ठीक है. That is one thing. Okay, please write one line. Before independence, India largely followed straight monogamy. Straight monogamy. However, post independence, with the emergence of modern liberal laws, with the emergence of modern liberal laws, right to divorce for women is recognized. Right to divorce for women is recognized. And since India has moved from straight to serial monogamy, however society still favors straight monogamy due to cultural preferences. Are we clear? ठीक है, एक ये लास्ट ले लेते हैं, then you can have your break. Polygamy. What is polygamy? Polygamy is one person marrying multiple people. Polygamy can be of two types, that is polygyny and polyandry. So polygyny is when one male marries multiple females, that is polygyny. And polyandry is when one female marries multiple male. One female marries multiple male, that is polyandry. One male marrying multiple female is polygyny, GNY, polygyny. ठीक है, polygyny. Clear? Examples लिख लेते हैं. The examples of polygyny: Muslims and Nagas, certain communities of Muslims and Nagas. Fine. Polyandry, Todas of Nilgiri. Todas, Todas, Todas of Nilgiri. Tibetans. Okay, so Tibetans, Todas of Nilgiri, they follow polyandry. Still, some of the communities, not everyone, some of them are following. Fine. So here you can have your break, and after break we'll continue. So duration of break usually runs how much? 30 minutes. Okay, so half an hour break. So we'll be meeting after half an hour. Okay.